All right. Good morning, everyone. It is 8:44 in the morning of January the 13th, 2022, and I just realized that I titled this video as January 12th, so I'll have to go back and fix that. It is the 13th. The first thing that I'm looking at this morning is BTCS. This is essentially, what seems to me, is a Bitcoin miner. This is the first time I've ever heard of it. It's popping up this morning, gapping up this morning slightly. It's up 23.88%, so it's not up like 50, 60%. But basically, what's going on with this thing is that it has declared a dividend. And it's being called a bividend with a B rather than a D because it's a Bitcoin dividend. They are willing to pay a dividend in Bitcoin to anyone who is willing to receive it. Very interesting. And it's apparently it's the first ever dividend paid in Bitcoin. Very interesting. So it's popping up this morning. I don't know what to make of it. I've never traded on that kind of a news before, so. Pardon me, I've gotten a little bit of a cold here. I hope it's not COVID. But anyway, so here it is this morning. I put a Fibonacci on this thing that goes from this peak back here on the 10th of November down to the bottom here on the 4th of January. Now, it went from $8.92 down here to, was that $3.01. So it's really, it really took a tumble in these days, but now it's rather high. So total outstanding is 10 million shares, and its float is 8 million shares. So if it opened up right now, it would open up above the 75% level. Then, at 892 is what I'm calling the 100% level. So a move above 892, I think what would most attract me is a move above 892 confirmation, and then a move above that. So kind of like that, lightning strike pattern we like to see so much as traders. It indicates support, or indicates a breakthrough resistance, a test of support, and then a move higher off of that test for at least a scalp. So 892 is the level that I'm watching on this one. I'm going to go ahead and set an alarm for 892. So if it starts hitting that level, I'll have an alert. Now I'm also going to set a level down here at what's that, $7.44? Looks like $7.44. So that if it crosses below and then crosses back above again, then I will, and actually let me do it on the 1 minute rather than the daily. And actually I should take this off the daily because it's weird whenever it decides to fire off. It just fires off the alarm at weird times if I put it on the daily rather than the 1 minute. Let's go here to the 1 minute. So you can see here in the pre-market, it hit this level, went above it, and now has come and failed below it again. So I imagine, much like many small cap movers and stuff, that this thing's got some time to go before it's not going to be as simple a trade as it used to be with momentum. It won't be as obvious. I'll probably have to, start buying the dip where, some level of support is identified kind of thing. Okay. And actually also, if we look at this on the daily here, let's see what kind of news. The 5th of January, as of the 5th of January, this thing started popping up and moving. Let's see what kind of news is on the 5th of January here. There's a chief financial officer named on the December the 1st. Okay, so January the 5th, BTCS to offer dividend of 5 cents per share in form of Bitcoin shares surge. That's interesting. So yeah, I guess this is just kind of technical moves right here after the news of paying out a dividend in Bitcoin. This thing's just decided to make a technical move here. Yeah, so a move above 892 here. That'll be interesting if it happens. A dip below and then a move back above 744 would be an entry. But that's pretty much it. A dip below and then the move back above would be an entry. Outside of that, I don't really see many more entries on this one. Ispc, this one started popping up pre-market. And this is an interesting play. This is a small cap that won a rather significant government contract. I think it was for only 3 million, or was it 30 million? Let's see. I think it was only 3 million. They're raising. Okay, they expect to raise 21 million from a private placement. Let's see where the. Let's see, November the 22nd. So let's find. Here we go. Ispc said Monday has secured contracts from the U.S. government and private researchers. Let's see, where is the amount? The amount of money that they were awarded was in the news around here somewhere. Let's see. And it was a decent amount. If I remember correctly, it was as much as 3/4 of revenue for them. Yeah, so I think it was somewhere around the $30 million mark. So they caught this pop. Now they have news today. Let's go back over to Street Smart Edge. Street Smart Edge has the better news source. News today is that Ispec expands support of COVID-19 research with availability of sequenced specimens to detect variants. Okay. So, pre-market, it was looking really strong right there with that kind of move, but now that it's given back more than 50% of its pre-market move, which really doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't pique my interest at all. And $8.06 here. I suppose if today it can break above, retest and move on, then I suppose there might be a trade there. But otherwise, I don't expect much out of this stock today at all. I expect it's probably put in its best move. There might be a bump in the chart, at some point today, but I suspect its best move has been put in the pre-market right here. So I'll put an alarm on it here on the 1 minute. And if it starts to move, then it starts to move. We'll see what happens. TSM, this is interesting. I would have expected TSM to have been much more bullish throughout this period here when chip manufacturers, have been, I don't know, there's this big chip shortage. It's been talked about now for months, maybe longer. I don't know if that's a supply chain issue. I don't know, the chips have already been made and they just can't get to their destination or what, I don't know. But so apparently Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company reported earnings today. It's a pretty good earnings report. Surprised to the upside on earnings of 3.26% and surprised on revenues of 1.01%. Wow, they do $15.8 billion. Is that a quarterly? That's on a quarterly basis. Good golly, that is a boatload. Yeah, on an annual basis, they're if they keep this trend going with, what was that? 15 billion? I think they said. What was that? Almost 16 billion in revenues times 4. That's 64 billion a year. Good golly, that is a huge amount of revenue. Their earnings. Let's see, their earnings. I guess profit margins at 38%, almost 39% for 2020. That's pretty good. 32% for 2019, 34. Yeah, the profit margins aren't bad. And their growth was a bit stagnant there between 2017 and 2019. But it looks like growth for 2020 and 21 are going to just take off. Interesting. Okay, so pre-market, they put in a pre-market high this morning, early in the morning here at $138.65 per share. The Fibonacci that I have on this is, so it's all-time high down here to the nearest trough. And it seems to respect this price down here of $108 really bounced off of $108, you know, 3 times. So definitely there's support down there at $108. A break into all-time, well, let's see, a break into recent all-time highs or just plain old all-time highs. Let's go to the monthly here. Yeah, it would be a break into all-time highs. Let's go back to the daily. That's a very parabolic on the monthly chart. That's as parabolic as it gets. But this is a break right here. Let me take the on a monthly chart. That's really very bullish. What this means right here, this is a bull flag right here. And so now it's starting to resolve to the upside. There could be a heck of a lot more upside on this stock. You know, I'll be looking for an entry today for just a trade, but I might leave a little bit on the table as an investment. We'll see. So it's really quite possible. Let's see. I have the all-time high marked off at 138.65, but it looks like it put in this other all-time back here at 142.20. So let's look. Let me take that out. Let me put that back on the daily. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't have the all-time high marked off. I had the pre-market high marked off at that. Okay. So right now it is doing its best to stay above that pre-market high. Looks like it broke through, found support, and is probably going to move forward. So the next break will be above 139.30, and I expect to see it run pretty strongly above that. However, I want to see that happen in not in pre-market hours. I want to see that happen in regular market hours, and I want to see what kind of support and resistance this thing gets in. What kind of support and resistance this thing gets in regular hours. So, yeah, the likelihood of me playing this one today is high, and it'll be on, you know, one of these levels here. Will it make it all the way back down to the 75% level today? I kind of doubt it. I think this thing, it might give a little bit of a dip after the open, and then a push back through the open is probably a pretty good trade on this one. So, and that's probably the setup that I'll be looking for. So I'll mark off the open this morning. Wherever it opens, I'll put one of these dotted lines on the open, and then look for a dip below the open, possibly, if it doesn't just run at the open. And then after the open, I'll look for it to move past the open again. All right, then Tesla. So Tesla is kind of in the middle of its risk range here. So, you know, it's 50-50 which way it's going to go. You know, I lean toward it going higher because it bounced off the low end of its range. And so then the next most natural thing for it to do is to run into the top end of its range. That's just kind of the way it works, you know. So we'll see what happens. There might be a play there might not. Amazon, Hedgeye is bearish, Amazon. And again, Amazon's here in the middle. So it bounced off the low end of its range. So I will be looking for an opportunity to short this as it comes off the top end of its range. Then another one, I think it's the Nasdaq. Let me go to risk ranges here real quick. I think the Nasdaq is really close to the top end of its range, which is interesting. You know, the SPX is tech heavy also, and the SPX is in the middle of its range after having bounced off the bottom of its range. I would expect if the NDX is going to start going lower, if the Nasdaq is going to start going lower, that's going to have an effect on the S&P. So, you know, I am looking to, you know, the Nasdaq is close to the top end of its range, and this is the area to sell. And Hedgeye is bearish, the Nasdaq. So, yeah. Anyway, that's the play. Okay, so broader market here. Very interesting. The SPY, if it opened up right now, would open up 0.2% higher than its previous open. These, let's see, I'm just going to get rid of these right here. Those were previous, I don't know, highs and lows or something. The price on the SPY is now exploring this breakdown candle right here. I personally, the Hedgeye has the Nasdaq as actually not bearish, but as neutral, and has the S&P as bullish. And so in the risk range they have on the S&P here, they've got 48.31 as the top end of the range, and 46.34 as the bottom end of the range. I think that was as of yesterday. Could have been as of this morning. Let me check and see if I still have their page open. That was yesterday. That was January the 12th. So these change daily, and I haven't seen the new ones yet. But this is roughly. They usually don't change too much throughout the day, so this is going to be roughly the same level. This kind of candle right here is usually a candle of indecision. Doesn't really tell you, unless it's at the top of a move, unless it's at the top of like I don't want to say parabolic, but rather steep increase in price. Unless it comes at the top of that, then this is just kind of decision or indecision. When you see something like this little candle right here at the top of a move, then that usually signals at least the short-term top in price action. It doesn't mean that doesn't mean it's a reversal. It doesn't mean anything like that. But on a short-term basis, it usually means on a short-term basis, like on the say 2 to 2 month time frame, that it's hit a top for a little bit, and then it's going to come back up later at some point. There's a really good example of that on Home Depot. Actually, let me see if I can find it. HD. It's been like a year or so since it put in that signal. So let's see if I can narrow it down here. Where did it go? I think it was before the big crash. Maybe it was after. Don't remember. Let's see, it's 2017, so it's too far away. Let's see if I can find it. Is that it right there? Might be it right there. It coincided with earnings. Yeah, I think that's it right there. So this candle right here. So here's this. Yeah, actually, this is March 2020. Okay. Yeah, actually, this is it. So you can see this fairly decent run here. Here's the bottom of the March Madness in 2020 when COVID was hitting. And then went into earnings right here, and it put in this indecision candle right here at the top. Right there, and then pulled back for just a few days, and then went on. So that isn't the same as, let's pull SPX back up. That's not the same as what we're seeing right here. That this candle of indecision isn't at the top of like a move like this right here. So what does it mean? I don't know. Nothing really. It's in the middle of its risk range. It could go either way. Not a high probability trade there in either direction. So probably stay away. I'll probably stay away from the SPY today, trading options on the SPY today. We'll see. We'll see what happens. VIX. So the VIX is breaking down. Here we have, I keep saving this, but for some reason it doesn't save. 1, 2, 3 strikes are out. Volatility, big volatility spike. And we have 1, 2, 3 strikes are out. Big volatility spike. Now here we have this support and resistance line again. So 1, and I actually expect the VIX to start coming down here to test the support and resistance again soon. So yeah, it's just to say, going off of what the VIX is doing, then the SPY ought to be going higher. Same thing with the Nasdaq and so forth. But we'll see. You don't know. And this is also starting to be less. So the spikes in the VIX were episodic and non-trending. Episodic and non-trending. Episodic and non-trending. These spikes. And they were buying opportunities, each one of them. it looks to me like the VIX is like starting to put in a bottom here. And so these volatility spikes could start to signal, something a little bit more extended to the downside. It's not forecast yet. I think it's coming, but it's not forecast yet. So, I mean, we'll see. If we get another 3 strikes, you're out. I mean, that's the inning. Here's inning 1. Here's inning 1. Here's inning 2. And then, inning 3, if it can't make it down below this this resistance or support line, then it's going to be. I think we're going to start seeing volatility that is trending and episodic. So, all right, Bitcoin. Boy, has Bitcoin done a good job of getting back above 42,000. I'm still actually not convinced of Bitcoin. This is so Hedgeye has a level of 40,000 as support on Bitcoin. My level is at 42,000, and there was the first sort of cracks in the armor right here with this red close below 42,000. And so this could be a head fake, it could be a look above and fail. We'll see what happens. For the time being, the bull case is broken and it's neutral at best, and probably bearish. So if Bitcoin can make it all the way back up to this 53,000, then okay. But if it makes it back up to, say, this level right here and fails, roughly 48,000, and then fails, I would expect to see 42,000 fail again. All right, everybody, that is my pre-market strategy session. Good luck out there. Keep your risk tight. Click like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tap the bell, and I will see you at the recap. I am out.